Hello, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here with you today. I look forward to sharing how we are designing a blockchain solution in collaboration with a Swiss bank to tackle real-world challenges. So far, together with Diana, you have seen blockchain's capabilities in theory, but how did this translate into real benefits? So let me guide you through this live project. It's about making trust operational, not just aspirational. So this is not about crypto or speculation. It is about addressing critical everyday challenge. So how to ensure that a payment order, once authorized by the client, remains authentic, unaltered, and verifiable permanently. So in digital banking, trust is everything, right? But it could be very fragile. Um, Common issues could be like disputes, for instance, over what was authorized or not, long audit trails that can stand for weeks, and delays in proving who did what. So this is especially true for high-value transaction, right? So we asked, what if we could seal that moment of authorization, the digital signature, into an immutable ledger? So not just stored, but proven to be real and unchanged. That's exactly what we set out to do. Um, the moment a client authorizes payment is legally and operationally critical. So in this use case, we are focusing on notarizing that exact moment. And using blockchain, we created a tamper-proof record, a digital fingerprint that captures the customer intent, the client intent, at the same time the content of the payment. So think of it like a digital time capsule, right? No matter what happens downstream, the bank has irrefutable proof of the client's original authorization. Um, so you might be wondering now, what about privacy? And that's of course a very fair question, especially in the banking sector. Um, we designed this solution to be privacy preserving from the start. No sensitive data, no names, no account number goes on blockchain because it is immutable, right? So it cannot be altered, cannot be deleted. So instead, instead we store only encrypted fingerprints. Um, Still very useful because with a fingerprint, you can prove a document's or a dataset integrity and never revealing its content. So from the dataset, you can calculate the fingerprints and see if it's integer, but from the fingerprint, you cannot like revert back to the data. So this approach is fully compliant with privacy laws and, for instance, the GDPR rules we have in Europe, but also other country privacy law, and even supports the right to be forgotten, which is quite critical, right? I mean, the customer can ask the bank to delete their personal data, his personal data. And if the bank, of course, store the data on blockchain, cannot do that. So that's why we studied this kind of design so they can comply. And of course, sensitive data are stored off-chain and can be deleted anytime if needed. At the same time, we have everything, non-sensitive data and fingerprints on blockchain that can prove perfectly that integrity. So another important aspect is the security and compliance. They are central. Our notarization platform uses a blockchain technology called Hyperledger Fabric, which is a private consortium blockchain built for enterprise and regulatory environments. Our platform has different features. The key one are, I'd say, the access, which is strictly controlled. So basically, only authorized users can access to specific data sets. So we have a high level of isolation. We have possibility to create different channels. So there is a huge possibility of configure these aspects. And data is encrypted. In terms of security, data is encrypted both in motion and at rest, and the system's been hardened with vulnerability scans and CIS compliance. So it's very secure. This is something that usually bank requires. And we also align with DORA regulation we have in Europe. DORA is the Digital Operational Resilience Act that says that critical systems has to comply with a set of rules in terms of security. And there are a few articles, one that says that the systems has to guarantee operational resilience and data integrity. And of course, as you may understand, this system helps the bank to comply with this article specifically, and also says that the system has to provide a real-time monitoring and an effective incident detection mechanisms. And of course, this system, this solution can help in that as well, because once you have the overall process traced on blockchain, you can easily monitoring and detect in a quicker way the incident and raise any alert to have an affecting monitoring layer. So even though the bank is not in EU, meeting DORA standards means they are ahead of the curve in terms of trust and compliance. And also, if they want to transact with EU banks, they should comply with DORA. So which are the benefits of the solution just described? What does the bank get from this? For sure, we've seen a single source of truth, right? I mean, we have this information stored in a distributed ledger in a blockchain, which could be considered a single source of truth. And if there is ever a dispute, or the bank has always a verifiable record, and furthermore, depending from the country regulatory framework, could have a legal value. For instance, the MiCAR framework we have in Europe says that a dataset stored on a distributed electronic ledger, a blockchain is a distributed electronic ledger, could have legal value. So of course, this is a very important. That means that you can do faster audits process. You can reduce compliance costs, but of course you have less legal exposure. One of the most important thing that helps build trust with client. So the client could perceive that their data are safer, and they know their authorization are safe and provable. So this could help very much in terms of acquiring trust. And finally, the system can be integrated seamlessly in a many different way within the existing infrastructure. We know the bank has very complex system infrastructures with plenty of applications, so we don't want to disrupt the normal service, and we don't want to replace any existing service. So this is something that could be put aside of the existing service. What next? What next? I mean, this could be just the beginning of like blockchain adoption, because for instance, we could decide to expand the certification across the full payment lifecycle that we know it could be quite complex and long, and it involves like many services and many payment gateways. So it could be very very complex and long, and having it centralized on blockchain could be a real value. But we could also extend this certification to other critical events, such as audit logs, digital contracts, interactions with customers. So the certification can be extended to many other topics. Where I see also a big potential is in creating shared infrastructures for multiple institutions. I mean, there are situations where banks has to exchange information, right? And by using this kind of technology, they can form a blockchain consortium with a technology that perfectly fit the concept of consortium, and they can use an infrastructure they can trust, and they could also share the cost of this infrastructure. And finally, we could even more leverage the power of smart contracts for starting and automating a few processes, for instance, the compliant process, or maybe automates some conditional payments where the smart contract can evaluate a few set of conditions and then triggering the payment afterwards. I will, to wrap up together, which are the key takeaways I see here. We learned that trust can be proven. Blockchain notarization transforms trust into verifiable evidence, and every step becomes tamper-proof and auditable. The system could be seamlessly integrated, and it is designed to work smoothly with existing systems. So we minimize disruption while maximizing the value. It is completely aligned with privacy frameworks. Data remains private, only encrypted proofs are stored on blockchain, and it is enterprise grade. It is an enterprise grade infrastructure, so it is built on private blockchain with robust security monitoring and controls, designed for regulated environments. So I will thank you for listening till now, and I will be very curious and to get your questions. So let's open it up. And where do you see value in verifiable trust?
Thank you. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to raise your hand or just type in the chat, and I can unmute you from our end or give you permission to speak with the mute button on our end.
Thank you, Brandon. I think we had one question in the chat from Roy. If this is so good, why isn't it in daily use by everyone in Bermuda? What is the reason that it has not caught on as a major way of doing business worldwide? Okay, Fiona, would you like to?
Yes, I want to make sure I got the question because I cannot see the chat anymore.
Okay.
So, okay, probably because I needed to stop sharing the screen. Okay. Let me read the question myself. If you cannot delete customer data with blockchain, how it is compliant with PADI in Bermuda? Is PADI the privacy law in Bermuda, I guess, right? Can you confirm that?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's a great question. Because if you cannot delete customer data, how could be reach the compliance, right? Because we are not going to save in the blockchain the customer data, the sensitive data itself. So we are not going to save in the blockchain name, surname, date of birth, account numbers, this kind of data. But we are going to save on blockchain a specific representation of the data, a specific cryptographic representation of the data that could help us test the integrity of the data, that the data has not been altered, but at the same time, we are not going to save sensitive data. So if you delete the sensitive data that stays off chain, that stays in traditional databases, you comply with the framework, because you at that time you just have a cryptographic hash saved on blockchain that doesn't help you to get the original data, right? Not sure if I explained myself in an easy way. Well, Roy, I'm not pretty sure. Is the blockchain technology has to be approved by party, because you could also use the blockchain technology in a wrong way that is not compliant anymore with party. But for instance, our solution has been designed to be compliant with those rules. And to answer also the other question you have about DORA, I'm not sure about the existence of DORA in Bermuda. And for sure, Bermudas have something similar, perhaps. But we could deepen the topic, and we could also. I would like to leave you my contacts here in the chat. So for the question we are not prepared with, because unfortunately we didn't do any projects yet in Bermuda, so that's why we don't know very well like all the frameworks, but we are very willing to learn, and we are pretty sure there are very similar topic related to the one we are addressing here in Europe. So for any other question related to Bermuda regulatory framework, feel free to send me an email, and I will be very happy to answer your question. Well, this is another very good question. I read it out loud, so for the ones who cannot see the chat, Roy Dixon is asking, if this is so good, why isn't it in daily use by everyone in Bermuda? Why is the reason that it has not caught on as a major way of doing business worldwide? This is a great question, because the adoption of the blockchain is taking long time for many different reasons, for regulatory reasons, for complexity of the technology itself, for wrong attempts has been done in the past, for having the crypto related world, which is full of like also scams, and for last but not least, for an educational purpose. And that's why we are trying also to educate our customer in the blockchain adoption. So the reasons are many, but things are moving quickly now. And even though maybe the final customer doesn't know the systems is already using the blockchain. For instance, I didn't know my bank in Europe started using blockchain in a completely transparent manner for the final users. So things are changing, and the bank sector is a bit slow compared maybe to other sectors because it's very traditional, etc. But there are a lot of experiments going on, and there are a lot of solutions already out there
Do we have any more questions for the team? If you don't have any questions, oh, there is a question that just came in again from Roy saying, can't we use AI to do the same thing?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Roy, for your questions. This is another great question. I mean, AI is the hype in this period, right? And everybody's talking about AI. But AI and blockchain are very different technologies and are, I'd say, complementary technologies. While AI is helping you to make a very generic definition to make predictions, the blockchain can help you in like reaching trust and traceability. So are very different things, but the important things is that since they are complementary, you can combine it. So for instance, as you may know, to make a very good prediction, you have to use a very good data set, a quality data set. And it's not every time very easy to assess the quality of data. And for this, blockchain can help, because if you can trace the data in an immutable way from the source, then you can make sure the data is of quality. And then you will make sure that the prediction made by AI will be a quality one. So the combination between AI and blockchain is really great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, if there's no more questions, thank you for your time today. I believe Fabiano put his email address in the chat. If you have any further questions, we will be sharing the presentation today with everybody and those that were unable to attend. And I'm sure that if there are any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or the AstraKode team who will be able to assist. And yeah, I don't know if you guys have any final comments that you wish to say on your end. But if not, thank you so much for your time today, and it's very informative. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity, Brandon.
Yes, same here. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone who managed to attend this session.
Perfect. Thank you all.
Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye.